Yeah.
Do you guys see this as like a career?
Okay, guys. Today we're joined by Riley. Riley has a podcast called Little Miss. We connected through Instagram, and we thought it'd be really cool to share perspectives on having a small podcast, like starting from scratch. Yeah. Do you want to give yourself a little introduction, Riley?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, I messaged Hannah and Nicole. I was cold calling.
I love
That's so
that. You're so
funny.
brave.
Um, because Nicole and I were just talking about what I do for work, and I'm a bartender. And I thought about going back to school this year for something. I don't know. I've been very lost on like what I want to do. And then I got around to getting off the wait list, and this instructor contacted me and he was like, "Oh, I think I can get you in the fall." And I was like, "Oh, I actually can't even comprehend doing that." And so that's when I like made this crazy whiteboard and I was like, "Little Miss, like this is my goal for the year." And I would write on it like, I need to reach out more to other podcasts because that's a good way to grow your account. And so I
Hmm.
started like cold calling girls that I thought had a similar niche, and most of them
Wait.
did not respond.
Oh, that's crazy.
Hmm.
How did you like find people? I'm just curious.
Oh, good question. I think I would search like podcast hashtag. I think I would look at like
Mm.
other accounts. Like if I found an account similar to yours, I would look at who they follow, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Um, so yes, that's how I found the girls. So thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah, thank you. We actually
Yeah,
always I don't think we really reach out much. But we'll get people who like reach out to us and we're like, "Oh, this is so exciting." And then they just disappear. So it's actually really cool for it to come to fruition.
yeah,
I have to say, I told my mom I was doing this before, and she was like, "Are you scared?" Like, she's a person you meet on the internet. And I know my mom's from a different generation, so I could see how she would be worried. But I'm like, okay, well, worst case scenario is a learning experience. Like,
yes,
what? I
yeah,
mean, and I love that you have that mentality that it's almost like you're not afraid of rejection, which I can't relate, but um, I'm good, proud of you. And I'm like, okay, like we we're doing this, we're making this happen. Like I can do it too. It's just like a
yeah.
validating type of thing.
Yeah, no, I really want to get more into like being a small content creator and getting more into vulnerability, but I think I want to back it up first and just learn a little bit more about like how you started your podcast. So how long have you
Right.
been doing Little Miss and what inspired you to start a podcast?
I started, I think it was November 2022.
Oh,
I
wow,
have
so
my
we have like
notes.
very similar timelines.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's when I posted my first episode. And it's funny, I hate that everything in my life revolves around a boy because I actually don't date that often. That was the last
Hmm.
relationship I had was 3 years ago, but we broke up too, and I was just um very upset and I felt like I needed something creative to do. And
Hmm.
I'm not good at writing and I'm not good at drawing and I think there's other aspects of my life that I'm creative in, but none of like the original or like the standard formats were working. And but I
Yeah.
love talking and I love having conversations. And I was like, oh, I wish there was some kind of platform of which I could just speak what I wanted to be, like some a platform I could just talk. And
Hmm.
thankfully, it's 2022, and there was. And then I kind of started talking to my roommates about it, and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to start a podcast. I feel like I have things I want to talk about. And I kind of thought they would shoot it down and be like, well, everybody has one. But they were super supportive, and they were like, I think those topics are good, and I think you should try it. And so, yeah, I did.
What were the kind of things that like you wanted to talk about or that you still talk about on your podcast?
I wanted to talk about I wanted to have like specific conversations each time instead of I think it's very cool how you guys because you're a duo, you kind of talk about your week. I think
Hmm.
that's a good platform. But for me, because since I didn't have a co-host, I kind of needed to pick specific conversations each time. So I
Yeah.
made this like crazy podcast idea list, and I wanted to talk a lot about like I think because I was going through a breakup then too, I wanted to talk a lot about dating and I want to talk about attachment styles and that's kind of like how it started. And then I just started like writing and writing and writing on it. And I started coming up with topics about like, are you feminine or masculine? And I started talking about TV shows and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, so basically, I set up the podcast to where if I had an idea and something I really couldn't stop thinking about, then I could do an episode on it
Yeah.
because, yeah.
No, that's really interesting because people will ask us, or people will ask me, like, oh, what's your show about? And I'm always kind of just like, whatever I feel like talking about. Like, it's kind of about us. It's kind of about like experiences in your 20, but it's also like you were saying, like, I feel like we just are like, this has been on our brain and we just can't stop thinking about it.
Yes.
And it's kind of
Yeah.
just an ongoing conversation.
I like to say like niche pop culture because we don't necessarily talk about like the biggest things that are happening, and but we also do touch on things that matter to us. Like I just
Yes.
watched the movie Sinners. Catch me speaking about that in the next week's episode. Like, you know what I mean? It's just things that we love and things that we or things we hate. Things we have opinions on really. But
Yes.
yeah, it's just so people come up to me and ask me the same question, like, what's your podcast about? Yeah, we're like a girly time. Like I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I think it's less about what it's about and more about the conversations and the dynamic and the feeling. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. It's funny, I hate saying this whenever sometimes people ask, what's your most popular episode? Because I posted it just to stay consistent. And it was not
Mm.
something, I mean, I watched the show, but I really didn't care that much. And my most downloaded episode of all time is My Life with the Walter Boys from Netflix. And like, I do have a lot of thoughts on that. But when I saw that one go, like, doing so well, I was like, you guys, like, you have to be kidding. Like, I have an episode on caregiving with my mom, like, I have an episode on
Yeah.
parenting with my mom.
I know
There's
it's
so many
so
other
interesting.
episodes.
There's so many things that I'm like, this is so interesting to me. And like crickets, literally no one cares. Like
Yeah.
you just never know what's gonna hit.
It's so funny. Our most popular downloaded one is our running journey, which how boring is that? Like in
Yeah.
my head, I'm like, yeah, put shoes on and like get outside. But like, but like, I don't know. Like I've not listened back, so I don't even remember what I said. And I fear the running journey has ended. So I'm like, I kind of feel bad when it keeps getting listens, and I'm like, guys, I'm not there yet. Like I'm not back there. I don't know what to tell you guys. And I kind of feel guilty,
Yeah.
but again,
Yeah.
what can you do?
Yeah.
I think it was just very searchable, which I think that's what it comes down to.
Yes.
But yeah, you really never know. Cause like in my opinion, like I mean, was it I'm not saying it was a bad episode, but I'm like, I don't think it's the most interesting thing we've ever talked about. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I feel the same way, where I truly posted that as a filler episode, basically. And somehow
Hmm.
that's interesting about searchability because I've been trying to figure out like the whole SEO thing. Have you
Yeah.
guys found anything useful with that? Because as much as I try to do it, it never seems to work.
I I haven't found a tool necessarily, and I love like coming up with funny, silly names. Like I feel like we both do. But the thing is that like okay, are they funny to our audience? Yes. But
Hmm.
nobody's gonna like search that. And like if you don't know us, like maybe you wouldn't like you don't know what it's about. So I've been trying to think more about like keywords and that kind of thing. I'll be honest, like I'm very like morally ambivalent on like ChatGPT and using AI and that kind of thing. However, I have asked it in the past, like this is my episode topic, like how would you title it to like still be funny and interesting, but also have
Hmm.
like searchability. And it has been very good with like coming up with or like altering a title that I give it to make it more searchable. But yeah, that's like the only tool that I've
I feel
found.
the exact same way about chat. That's so funny because I
Yeah.
I wish I wasn't using it, but I do occasionally use it for that,
Yeah.
or
And
like to rewrite a caption or something.
yes, I feel like it's so interesting. I was really not using it for a while because of those things. I'm like, it's not really good for the environment. Like and I also
Yes.
think I just actually finished grad school. I was kind of in a similar like place to you where I struggled with my career and like what I want to do for so long and I finally went back to school. But everyone that I was around would use ChatGPT for everything. And like they didn't think anymore and they wouldn't question
Hmm.
what it said and like it would spit things out. And I'm like, that's objectively like just wrong. Like that's not the
Hmm.
right answer. And so I think I'm hesitant because I want to like have my own thoughts. But at the place I work, they really push this like AI tool that we have. So I'm like, I literally have to use AI so that I'm like, what's one more question? Like I think that's the mindset I
Yeah.
take, which I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's great, but yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the same about AI as Hannah. I try not to use it because of environmental impact, but
Hmm.
even more so, like I want to be a free thinker and I will take social media breaks when I feel myself like kind of just moving with the masses and not questioning things.
Yeah.
And like that scares me. And I'd never want to rely on technology to like have a personality. I don't know. Like it's just something that I'm really conscious of. And so that's why I'm a little like,
Yes.
but don't get me wrong. Like I have used it for to try to episode titles or even what are some holiday episode like whatever
Yes. Yeah.
holiday
Yeah.
episode topics. I'm like, okay, I guess. And do I use them like there? It's a mostly like a jumping off point, but I still feel a little bit like gray, morally gray doing it.
Yes.
So
No, I feel the same way.
It's so funny because I feel like we're doing a thing that I really hate where we're like disclaimer, 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 like I don't know. Like anyway, I won't harp on AI forever, but that's like a funny thing about having a podcast is like and putting your thoughts out there, it's like you can feel like you really need to like give a lot of disclaimers and like really explain and like it's just scary to like put your thoughts out there because you know there's going to be other people's responses and it's hard to not get stuck in the trap of like anticipating what people are going to say and then basing what you say off of that
Yes.
because I think that's boring and I don't think it's healthy in general.
speaking of being authentic and vulnerable, I just listened to your breakups episode, which came out on February 1st.
Yeah.
And right away, you mentioned how people who aren't necessarily in your life anymore have access to your thoughts. And I never thought of that before. And now I'm terrified. Because in my head, I'm like, it's the girly fun time. However, those stats show me that a third of our listeners are male, and I don't know them. Do you know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so, like, I sometimes I feel like this is something I would say to my friends and the girls, but I wouldn't necessarily be saying it to like a group of men. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes, for
And
sure.
it's nothing against them. It has nothing to do with it, but it's just like a girly TMI time,
Hmm.
and I know like the girls get it. So, and I don't want to be misunderstood or have so many disclaimers or whatever, but it really frightens me. So, how do you stay authentic and vulnerable with your audience and not,
First of all, that was a good question, and I'm glad that you picked up on that in the episode because I that was a really big part of that episode. And even in the
Mhm.
breakup, when I posted that, I kind of in the beginning say like, "Hey, um, I hope the person that this is about isn't listening because it's this is not like the space for him."
Mm-hmm.
And I actually highly doubt he is, but I know his mom is, and that kind of I debated a lot about because I'm still on good terms with her and I really love her. And I debated a lot about like even posting the episode because I wasn't sure if like I should if there were people that were listening and like I don't necessarily it's like this very complicated feeling of like I don't want them to feel like they how do I put this? I don't want them to get access to that information because it's not for them. And if it was a private conversation, I wouldn't want her to hear that either, you know? And it
Yeah.
has nothing to do with whether or not you like them or not. It's just like, this is not your space.
Well, yeah, and it's hard because it's like are though it's not like that you don't want to share it, but like once you post it, you can't control where it goes.
Yes.
And it's like you have an audience in mind and like I would talk about a breakup with like a girl I met in a bathroom bar, but like would I talk with, yeah, my ex's mom or whatever. Like
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
totally get that feeling and that's really hard. Do you feel like you feel a lot of pressure like being a smaller creator to like give up more of yourself to grow an audience or do you really does that come into your mind at all?
I think because in my episode, for people that don't know, we're doing two episodes. one for each of our channels. But in my episode, we talked a little bit about how like our audience is mostly people that we know, or like a lot of people that we know. So I don't feel like I
Yeah.
necessarily have to give up too much of myself in that way, because the people who generally listen already know what I'm going to say for the most part. Like they know
Hmm.
me. I
Yeah.
think as my podcast grows, I'll feel differently because I'll start hopefully attracting people that don't know me. Kind of,
Hmm.
yeah, like the way that I'm
Yeah.
meeting you guys. So as of right now, I don't. Do you guys feel that way?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what you want to take this. I'm like, yeah, I do. I think that we see these creators and we want them to be authentic. And I think having the hard conversations is how to draw audiences in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to be the subject of those hard conversations. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I do appreciate when people are so honest.
I feel like when it comes to like when I would be struggling with something, whether it was like mental health or my career or like even when I was in high school and like choosing what college to go to, I would search and search and search for someone who would be open about these things. And like the feeling I would get when someone would like actually talk about these kind of things was like, oh my God, like
Yes.
so relieving. And like I just want to hear someone who's been through the same thing like talk about it. So I feel like I didn't talk much when I was like in the depths of like the situation that finally pushed me to like go on medication. But once I was on it and I felt some clarity and I felt like so much better, I was like, I feel like I need to be open because I know that I craved this so much
Mm-hmm.
and I want to give that to other people who like feel the same way. And so I think it's like I try to think about okay, like when I'm going through it in the moment and I don't have a lot of perspective, I keep it more so to myself because it's really hard to put something out there when you're still trying to figure it out. And like you said in the episode we recorded on your podcast, like people will come up and talk to you about an episode like it just came out, but like for you that was like so long ago and like
Yes.
you've moved on from then. And so I've really had to come to a balance of like, okay, like maybe I'm not vulnerable in the moment when something is first going on, depending on what it is. Like, but once I gain more perspective, like I feel like it's really important to share those types of conversations because that's the kind of thing that I always really craved as a listener.
Yeah.
And I don't even think that like Hannah could give sound advice or a sound perspective when she was going through them, or same with me.
Right.
So I don't even think that it would be helpful for the listener to have both of us just panicking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at
Yeah.
least they could have the comfort in knowing like, okay, we got through this scenario. We made it through this and maybe the decision was hard and we made hard decisions and did things that whatever. But I think it just brings them comfort to know like, hey, because I've definitely been in positions on the podcast where I've said something and then not fulfilled it. Or I've said like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, like I'm going through something really hard or whatever. And I felt like a broken record because I kept saying the same, like, I'm having this issue, I'm having this issue. And it almost felt like I wasn't putting any work into it as a perspective of a listener, but like as a perspective of me, I'm like, yes, every day, like I'm going to therapy and like putting in all this like internal work, and maybe week to week it looks really slow and like nothing, but
Yeah.
month to month, like it just it compounds into a greater impact. So that is also where I've been able to, moderate what I say and how
Yes.
I go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just come with time. Like I had a similar thing when I was struggling with my career where I was like you, like people only as much as we like share about our lives and like things that we go through, people only see like us once a week. And you get
Yeah.
an hour of our time once a week when like we have I don't even know how many hours in a week, but like a lot more. And and I like especially when I was struggling in my career, I felt like I was saying the same thing over and over and like not doing it. And I was like, okay, like literally shut up. Like just, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to like make myself, because I think there's like, sometimes when you're really going through something, you just crave like that connection. And so I feel like it pushes you to really want to talk about, like you want to talk about it and you want to like move through these thoughts maybe with conversation, but like I have to really come back and think like, is this the audience for that? Or do I need to wait a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, you guys inspired me like just now when I was listening to that, because like I have topics on that notes app I talked about like medication and I've never talked about it. I'm like, oh, maybe I should, because I
Yeah.
agree 100%, but like when I'm going through something, I search that content
Hmm.
and like it matters to me to find people who talk about it. And yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
like, I think there's like a balance and like you don't have to share everything just because you would have craved it. Like maybe that is more of a personal topic for you. But I think, if you're like sitting on it for a while, like it's worth thinking about like what are some areas that I would be comfortable sharing if I feel like it's important to.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of content and searchability and things like that, do you feel a pressure to like blow up and be and make this a career?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Like I talk a lot about how like I would love for that. When people ask me like what my dream job is, I'm like, "Oh, this." Like I think
Mm-hmm.
it's so much fun. I love the production aspect of it because I do just like you guys, like I do all the mics, the sound, the editing, the video. I love the editing. I love having the conversations. I love connecting with people. Like this is what I would love to do. And so I think there is that part of me every time I post where I'm like, I want it to be a vulnerable episode and I want it to have impact, but I also want people to click on it. So
Yeah.
it's a balancing act.
And I really want to ask too, like, totally feel the same way where I'm like, I would love to like as much as I love it as a hobby and like I love that like Nicole and I get to sit down together every week. I would like yeah, of course I would want it to like be really
Yeah.
successful. But at the same time, like do you ever feel like sometimes I struggle with like okay, we've been doing this for 2 years and like it's not I
Hmm.
would still call it a very small podcast. Like do you ever struggle with like feelings of like failure or embarrassment because maybe it takes a long time to grow or like you feel that
Hmm.
pressure of like are people going to judge me because I'm doing this and like a putting yourself out there like in general and b like you have this project that's like very public and maybe it's not growing like super fast or to whatever expectation that you have.
Oh, 100%. Yes, absolutely. And I actually quit podcasting for like a year because
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, this isn't getting, yeah, for most of 2025, actually. I was like, this just isn't getting me anywhere. I feel discouraged. I feel like it's just not as fun as I thought it was going to be at that time. So yeah, 100%. And there's always that part of me that's like, I wonder if people click on the podcast account and they see I have 100 followers and then they notice that hasn't gone up in the last year. Like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if I've necessarily fixed that. I still think about that,
Oh, of
but
course. Yeah.
yeah, no, I that's very relatable, 100%.
That's just the curse of a small content creator. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, and part of me does feel silly and stupid for continuing. Like, it's a lot of back work. Like, it's a lot of like backdoor work, like to be able
Yeah.
to produce this. And sometimes I feel silly because I'm like, okay, well, I know hundreds of podcasts that are successful. Like, am I just not funny enough? Am I just not witty enough? Do I just not have that personality to make it successful? And I've never in my life have been putting a microscope to myself in the personality department. Not that I would be like overconfident, be like, I have the best personality ever, but
Mm-hmm.
like recording yourself and listening to yourself and, you know, getting feedback from others that you're doing this vulnerable thing, which is podcasting. It sometimes like hits me a little hard where I'm like questioning, like, am I funny? Am I interesting? Like,
Yes,
am I a
yeah.
good storyteller? And because it hasn't like blown up. That being said, I would prefer the episode to have a steadily growth with
Mm-hmm.
like a good community of women and girls and people, anyone actually, who,
Mm-hmm.
you know, are championing us and like want us to succeed and things like that. But I'm also scared of people hearing it.
Yeah. There's always, yeah, there's always, again, there's two wolves, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's like sometimes I think of it because it is an insecurity of mine. And it's hard because, okay, I try to rationalize it as like, I would never look at someone trying to do this and be like, that's like so silly or like, why would you try that? Or like, oh my gosh, like you're trying so hard and it's not like whatever, achieving whatever speed or virality or anyway. But and it like I'm like, okay, I would never do that. But then on the other hand, there are people who are like that who are just like haters. I don't
Yes.
know. And
Yeah.
so it's hard. I feel like sometimes there's like a voice in the back of my head of like, is this person talking to you about it? Like, are they being a hater? I don't know. Or like, are there people out there who
Yes.
are like laughing about it? And it's like, do I know that I shouldn't care about that? Yeah. But sometimes it's hard to, I feel like the times when I do feel this urge to like stop is because that like insecurity really rises up. That's the only time that
Yes.
I'm like, I don't know, like I'm making a fool of myself. The haters are winning.
Yes. No, I feel the exact same way. And they're also they're I struggle and I'm working on it this year. Like I'm trying to really tell people when they ask. But there's also this feeling of like men did have podcasts for so long and that I associate podcasts a lot of the times with like the worst men alive that really shouldn't have mics. And so there is like something embarrassing about like, yeah, I have a podcast because I'm like, please don't group me in with that. Like they talk
Mhm.
about nothing and their opinions are bad and it's just like, please don't make me feel like I'm the same as them, even though we're kind of the same. Like we have the same thing.
Yeah. So then what motivates you to continue to post? I know that you took a year off because you were discouraged, which relatable. Why
Hmm.
do you keep posting? Is it for the opportunity, maybe the lifestyle, maybe this becoming a career? Is it because you have a passion for it? Like what is it?
I think it's because I want to make it a career. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think before when I was posting very consistently, but I was kind of embarrassed about having a podcast. So I really
Yes.
wasn't doing everything I could to advertise it.
Mm-hmm.
And this year is like very different. Like I feel like I'm changing, I'm trying a lot harder than I was back then. And this kind
Yeah.
of feels like if I can't do it this year, then I can't do it. But I want to give it more of my all. I want to make sure I know like I did everything I could.
Yes, that is a great way. I think both Hannah and I are at the point where, like if we don't give it our all, we'll just be regretful.
Yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
And I feel like sometimes it feels embarrassing to admit, like, yeah, of course I want it to like be big, and of course I would love it to like become a career.
It does sometimes feel embarrassing to be like,
No,
oh, what do you want to do? I want to be a podcaster. Oh my God.
yeah, but I'm also like, I feel like you also hear this from people who have become large because I think sometimes like when people start to go viral, like you don't see the years of hard work. But I feel like I hear the stories so often and people are like, yeah, I posted for like 3, 4 years
Hmm.
before it finally picked up. And it's kind of luck of the draw. Like, is it hard work and honing your skill? Yes. But it's also, you eventually just have to hit that luck, I think, too. And
Yes.
I really think like, I love your mindset of like, let me give it my all. But I also think like, don't be discouraged if it's like by the end of the
Hmm.
year, it's not like where you want it to be, because I do think that it takes a lot of hard work, but like you just don't see that. Um, but in the same vein, how do you struggle with like people saying like the podcast industry or social media in general is like oversaturated? And like do you feel like that's true? Like do you feel like there's like no point in trying, there's so many people, or like everyone's trying, or I don't know.
Yeah. I sometimes do feel like it is so oversaturated. Like it's the barrier to entry is so low to have a podcast now that really you just need to buy like $50 worth of Amazon gear.
Mhm.
And I do sometimes feel like, especially when I search for podcasts, like sometimes when I'm looking for a topic and I just scroll and scroll and scroll because there's so many. Yeah, 100%. I feel like I've kind of dealt with that feeling. But then I remind myself that like there is room for all of us.
Yeah.
Like there actually is no reason why if someone else's podcast is successful, mine can't be.
Hmm.
Like that's the difference. Like with music or with podcasting, there's no limit of what you can create with it. Like you can always create more. And so that's kind of helped me to be like, oh, well, I might see 50 podcasts, but I feel like I put in a lot of work on production and on this and that. I feel like that kind of separates me a little. And B, there's room for all of us. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think too, like I literally just had this thought of like, think about how many authors there are in the world. But like
exactly.
everybody writes differently and everybody has different perspectives and things they write about. And I sometimes I try to think of it as like okay, are there a lot of podcasts in the world? Yes. But how many do I really listen to? Like, I really only have like
Mhm.
three or four that I really connect with. And a lot of them have very similar topics. Like, they're almost all lifestyle podcasts. And it's like everybody, sometimes the niche is your personality, I feel like. And
Yes.
it's like, okay, not everyone is for everyone. So, like, I have my audience, but maybe even though you're in the same industry, like, you're not necessarily competing for the same people in the same space.
Yes. Yeah.
And I also think, yeah, you're not competing because everyone can be a winner here. Like
Hmm.
you can listen to more than one podcast. It's an
Yeah,
hour of
exactly.
every week. You know what I mean? And I listen to a couple more podcasts than Hannah. I just have a desk job, so I get to listen to podcasts all day. And I love all the different perspectives. I think that was perfect. Like everyone has a different perspective. You could talk about the same topic 100 episodes, and you're you're peeling back different
Yeah.
subjects, different ideas, different, and it's just entertaining if the people you're listening to are entertaining. So
Hmm.
I like it.
Yes.
Yeah. I think too, like, it's just a different little anecdote is like recently I've gotten really into like makeup content on TikTok.
Hmm.
And I feel like there's so many different makeup creators and so many of them have such large followings. But I'm like, you know immediately if it's for you or not. And then like there's nothing wrong with them. It's just like everybody has a different connection point, you know? But they're
Yes.
all successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is a good example for sure. And I liked what you said about personality being a niche. I think that you guys have nailed that really well. I think you guys have really good chemistry, and I think you're both funny because, like, I know it sounds arrogant. I don't mean it to be arrogant, but I also think I'm funny. And so when I go through and
Yeah.
I look through these podcasts, that's kind of something I take. I'm like, well,
Hmm.
they don't have my sense of humor. And it's like, it's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Your personality is your niche.
Yeah. I think when we first started, we kind of really struggled with what's going to be our niche, what's going to be special. Because it's like you watch any video about how to be successful on any social media platform and they're like, find your niche. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yes.
But like lifestyle is a topic. And like, what is that niche? Like, lifestyle is your life. So, what
Hmm.
is the niche in that? You know what I mean? And yeah, I think it's totally a niche. And um, I think kind of in the same like frame of getting started and thinking about niches and that kind of thing. When you were starting your podcast, do you feel like you really struggled to feel like you needed to have all the pieces to put together before you started?
E, I actually, me vocal stimming right now. Um, I don't think I did. I don't think I thought that far in advance. I think I just had like I posted 3 episodes at once for my first
Hmm.
like posting. And I don't think I thought that far in advance. I think I was just putting up content. I
Yeah.
think too much about that now though, where I'm like, what?
Mm,
That sounds more
yeah.
like something I overthink now.
But I kind of love that for you because I feel like I started the opposite way. Where like
Hmm.
when we were starting, I felt so much pressure to have like the exact brand and niche built and like have the perfect logo and have the perfect idea
Hmm.
and the perfect name and the perfect dynamic and that kind of thing. And we kind of just had to be like, okay, let's just start because we were
Yeah.
overthinking it for sure.
I think that's what hindered us in the very beginning when we have those couple unreleased episodes because we would listen back and we're like, this is not what we want. Like, this is not even
Yes.
not that we
Yeah.
want. It's just not as polished as we would want it. And yeah, as soon as Hannah says this quote all the time, which I'm obsessed with, it's the what is it?
Launch fast and adjust later.
Yes, okay, she'll tell you too.
It's launch fast and adjust later or something along those
Hmm.
lines. It's
Yeah.
I've actually heard it from like Michael Bosstick from Dear Media. I think
Okay.
he's said something similar and but I was listening to an episode from the Skinny Confidential that he was on and I was like I just need to do that. Like you
Yeah.
literally cuz you can overthink yourself into a hole, but it's like you just have to do it. Like you just get started and you'll know where to go from there because you can put it off forever. And
Yes.
I feel
Yeah.
like I've really tried to make an effort to not that I'm not that I'm thoughtless or like not strategizing, but like I kind of just have to be like, okay, like I'm just gonna you just got to do it. Like you just got to put something out and like keep the momentum going and like you'll figure it out as you go along, you know?
Yes, I love that quote. That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
So what's one thing you've learned from being a small content creator?
Gosh, what is one thing I've learned being a small content creator? Mm. I think the typical answer is like you I feel like what I should be saying is like if no one else listens, then as long as you made it. And I think there's like truth with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, but I don't know if that's necessarily what I want to like stick to. But I will say like a lot of my episodes are with my roommate and my sister,
Mm-hmm.
and we all live together. And I think finding a reason beyond just blowing up is really good if you're a content creator because I look at
Yes.
those episodes and I'm like, oh, if God forbid we ever don't live together, like this is like a scrapbook that we made for the last
Mm-hmm.
3 years. And like
Yes.
even if no one else listens again, like that is valuable just for me personally. So I feel like having kind of a reason beyond just wanting to blow up if you're a content creator is helpful. But I also think admitting that like that is what I want is also helpful too. Like kind of sitting there and being like, no, I actually do want this to go somewhere. I want people to hear what I have to say and I'm gonna do have like a plan to put that into place. I'm gonna at least give it a try. I think that is helpful too for anyone that's starting out.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I was on the other end where I was like embarrassed to admit that I wanted this to go somewhere when
Yes.
I didn't have the evidence to prove that it will. And I'm still trying to continue making this grow. But I will say, like, I look at you and other small content creators, and I don't think that's a fault to like want this to go somewhere. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
like, everyone wants it to go there somewhere. Everyone posting on social media wants it to go somewhere, which I don't fault them for it. Like, I understand they're in this industry, the content creator industry, there are so many different avenues and careers that can be made out of it. And I don't think
Yes.
it's selfish, and I don't think that it's wrong to want those things. I think it's human and,
Hmm.
you know,
And I feel like to a degree too, like not admitting that like means you're holding back something. You
Exactly.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think you have to be honest with yourself to be able to like reach the potential. And I'm gonna pull out another quote. Chapel Roan said, she said something like this in a magazine article, like maybe a year or two ago, where she was like, you just have to do it embarrassed. And she was like, of course I was embarrassed, like when
Yes.
I first started performing on stage. And it's like, but you just keep doing it embarrassed and like look where it got her. And I think I try to think about that all the time. Like the two quotes. Those are the two quotes I live by. Like launch fast and adjust
Yeah.
labor and just do it like just do it embarrassed.
Yes. Yeah. No, I love her. That's a great quote too.
Hmm. Um yeah, I want to learn more about like your podcast dynamic and I think it's
Hmm.
so interesting that you like are very guest based. I think I said this, I don't know if I said this on your episode or the beginning of ours, but did you want it to start out that way? I'm like,
Like
how am I?
the interview style.
Yeah, I guess like I'm curious about, so you said you live with your sister and roommates, right?
Yes, there's three of us total.
Okay. And you live where do you guys live?
We live in Phoenix.
Oh, that's fun. I've always wanted to go. Actually, I got stuck in Kingsman, Arizona once on a
Really.
road trip. Our car broke down, so we were stuck there for a week. So I have a little bit of hate in my heart towards Arizona, but I would like to change it.
And it's probably fair, honestly.
Um, it was during COVID, so I was just stuck in a La Quinta and it was like 100 degrees outside. And anyway, that's a story for another day. But um, I'm really curious how you like decide who to talk with when you're thinking of your episode topics and how do you like I don't know like keep the audience engaged when you have new guests on or how do
Hmm.
you even like keep you know have you found like tips for like opening your guest up or like when you're planning episodes like how do you like know what you want to get out of it or you kind of just like see where it takes you.
I try and go in with a direction. I always give my guests questions in advance, and then like during the episode, we generally add a few just in conversation. But I always make sure that they have talking points because, like, even during this episode, we've both been podcasting for years, and we lose our train of thought, and that's just
Yeah.
very human. I think one of the biggest struggles I've had with guests is that I'm not big enough to get guests that have done podcasts before. Generally, my guests, this is their first time.
Yeah.
And
And is it like always someone that you know, typically like friends or family?
typically, I did one with an author who reached out to me, and I'd never met her before. I've had like a couple like that, but for the most part, it is the people I know.
Hmm.
Um, and I think I'll think of a topic. In the very beginning, I kind of was just taking everyone who would be on the podcast essentially, and I kind of
Yeah.
went through and removed a few of those episodes just because they were either bad quality or the I just didn't think it was necessarily a good episode now that I've done it for a few years.
Hmm.
So that was kind of how I started. And now I only take people who I think will be good on the camera and on the mic
And maybe for
and
like that certain topic or
yes, yeah.
yeah.
But generally at this point people reach out to me with their topics.
Wait, I
Um
love that actually. That's so cool.
yeah.
I'm jealous.
No, I'm gonna call to action our audience because what do you mean, guys? Like, are you kidding me? That is amazing. Like, I want you guys to tell me what you want to hear about. You know what I mean? So, please
Yeah. I
have
just did
fun.
an episode with my friend Lacey. I think it's like conversation about the end of a long-term relationship, and she reached out to me, and that episode I think is going to be my most popular because um, her
That was
marriage
so good.
ended. Did you listen to that one?
I did listen to it.
Okay.
That was
Yeah, her
so
marriage
good.
ended, and it was really nice that she did that episode with me because that's how a lot of people found out that her marriage ended.
Hmm.
And so I was getting a ton of likes and comments and shit. Not that I'm saying it's good that it did, but that was really nice that she was able to reach out to me and kind of give me
Hmm.
that publicity in a way because, yeah, I think that was hopefully good for both of us. But I think I've just kind of lucked out on getting a few really good episodes like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the episode. So if you guys are listening to this, go over to her podcast, Little Miss. She has a couple really good ones, a breakup one, ending a long-term relationship. And I even listened to the one with the author. I thought that was good too.
Oh, I can
So
tell you have a desk job. You've listened to quite a few. Thank you.
yes, I'm like on it. I'm like, I'm a fan. Um,
Yeah.
I really admire about your podcast. I love the way you run your social media and I'm like a little bit jealous because I feel like we have not figured out the clips.
Mm,
What kind of tips do you have? Like this is like me selfishly asking, but in
yeah.
general for like content creation, like what tips do you have in terms of maybe like editing style or filming or just any like strategy in general that you've
Yeah.
learned through running your social media and doing your podcast?
Well, thank you. That makes me feel good that you've noticed because when you're a small content creator, sometimes it feels like you're like shouting out into the void and like hoping that
Mm-hmm.
people notice.
It really
I
does.
have been putting a lot of work into it. I guess literally the most important thing I think is Canva Pro. I use that all the time. I love Canva, and everyone uses Canva, but I rely a lot on Canva just because it makes creating like aesthetic designs really easy.
And what kind of
Um,
designs are you making? Like,
like I always do the cover image on Instagram. I've kind of gotten into like pink and green is the colors of like the room I record in. So that's what I use on social media. And then Instagram has changed to where you can put a cover for a video instead
mm,
of just the video. So I started doing that to make it more aesthetic when you look at my page, but I'll go through like I use pink this time, then green, and then I do one that doesn't have a cover. But like I've kind of gotten to a pattern of that, and Canva's so easy because every single clip I can go in, I already have that preset design. I can just change the words, and it takes like 30 seconds now.
mm.
Um, so I love that. I also use CapCut to edit, and I pay for that too because I use the pro version. But it's those two things, Canva and CapCut, have cut down on editing and on social media stuff by like probably 50%. Like it's just so easy. Once you have like a flow with it, it doesn't really take
Yeah.
that much time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely I'm like write that down, write that down. I've been struggling my way through TikTok Studio and I really hate it. So I really want to get we really want to start doing like more video content. We kind of gave up on that because it was just
Mhm.
not working. So I'm gonna steal those tips and yeah.
Yeah. Video. I
Um,
also hate that we need video now to kind of
dude, I
like
know. I'm like,
go viral. Yeah.
this is supposed to be like the easiest thing. Like you just it's literally not just like buy a mic and talk anymore. It's a whole
Yes.
production.
Yeah.
Like it's video, it's audio, it's editing, it's social media promoting. It's like so
Yes.
many
Yeah.
things. Yeah. Um, yeah, do you have any other questions, or did you have any like final thoughts you want to add that we didn't get to?
I don't think so. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. I'm
this
like,
has
wait, I'm
been,
gonna text you after and be like, we're friends.
yeah, no, absolutely.
Great. Well, if you want, we continue the conversation on Little Mrs. Podcast. We talk about overcoming the cringe, some of our cringiest moments. And yeah, it was so fun. So where can they find you?
They, I'm on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube for just listening to the podcast under Little Miss. And then on TikTok, it's Little Miss Podcast. And on Instagram, it's Little Miss Podcast Official, if anyone wants to follow me. Um, yeah, I would love if anyone came over from your guys' side. I think we have very similar niches. And I think that if you like the Holding It Together podcast, you would like mine and vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys know where to follow us. You can follow us on Instagram at Holding It Pod, TikTok at Holding It Pod. You can email us at holdingitpod@gmail.com. And same time next week. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Do you guys see this as like a career? Because when people ask me, I try to like play it off. I'm always like, yeah, no, it's just fun. But the other part of me is like, please don't make me make spicy margaritas for the rest of my life.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm like, if I have to see one more road design, like I will lose it. Like I really, and I feel it feels weird saying like, yeah, I want to be a podcaster. Like I want to, because I go to these
Hmm.
shows and I see these, how much fun they're having and the freedom that they have to
Yes.
be the freedom that they have for their own life. And it's just like, it's so crazy. And I feel selfish, but at the same time, I'm thinking, well, everyone else, okay, I guess we like with the oversaturation of
Hmm.
whatever, everyone else is already trying to do it too. Like I shouldn't feel bad for wanting this. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm excited to talk more about that because I feel like we're gonna have so much to talk about.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.